Obviously disappointed about the loss and sitting out the seniors in this manner. But hats off to Boston College. It was a physical football game. They ran the ball extremely well. Extremely difficult to stop, and their quarterback threw for an extremely high percentage. Obviously with the turnovers, a game can get away from you a little bit. I don't feel like that is the end of what we're going to do. I think this is the beginning. I really believe that the 2018 season is going to be something that we're going to be talking about here for a long, long time. And I think the seniors in the 2017 class is going to be the cornerstone. They're going to be the foundation that gets this thing started. And when we have success next year and the years after that, I want everyone to think back to Zaire and Paris and Moo and Ish and Irv and any senior that I failed to mention right there, that those were the guys that got us started. I asked those guys, we sat the team down and said some things, and I asked those seniors to get up and take one more lap around the Carrier Dome, and you guys didn't see it, and had them walk around and just relive 2, 3, 4 years of memory. And we're going to do that. That's going to be a tradition here from now on, that it's something that as seniors, the game of football is it's not like any other game. If you're a baseball player, you play softball, and everybody knows you were a good baseball player. And if you were a basketball player, you join a rec team, and everybody can see that you can shoot the three and you can throw down a dunk. But when a football player retires from college, there's nowhere to go. There's nobody playing. 22 guys aren't playing football in the park with pads on and messing up the insurance from their companies because they can't go to work on Monday because they got some owies and there's no trainers taking care of them. So it's a special deal, and it's an emotional deal. And I feel bad for them individually, but I know as a family I feel good for them because I know they're the foundation of what we're going to get started. So with that, I'll close and I'll open it up for questions.
Coach, back here to your left. Coach, other than Steve Ishmael, in my humble opinion, it didn't seem like your team had the energy and emotion that we've seen in the past. Did you sense that at all this week with the bowl game out of the picture, and did you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that at all. I think that when you're playing the type of team that we're playing, you have to be able to exchange punches with them. And what you saw was a boxer and a brawler. And it's a physical game, and you get hit, you got to hit back, and then it comes a point where you get tired of doing it. And I think it was more of how physical and the pace of the game than saying that they weren't ready to go or they weren't excited about playing.
Coach, you mentioned the emotion a moment ago. How difficult is it to say goodbye to these seniors today?
It's always difficult, but you do it every year. And the people who don't appreciate it, the people who don't understand it, are the people who haven't gone through it. If you've been one of those guys in one of those situations and you've gone through it, you understand exactly what this day means. Win or lose, it means that you may never put those pads on again. And even if you have the opportunity to go to the NFL or try out for a camp, that doesn't mean that you're going to ever put the pads on again in a situation where it's meaningful, because you could just be on the team and get cut. So it's an emotional time for a football player when you hang up your cleats for the very last time in college football.
You mentioned thinking next year could be a really big year for the program, something that people will remember. When you look kind of long-term at this rebuild here, or build up, you're leading, what would you quantify as a successful year next year? What's kind of the benchmark?
I'm not going to do it that way, but I think that when you look at what we're doing and you look about what's going to happen next year, I think you're going to see drastic improvement. And what you're going to see is the growth and the maturity of the young men. You thought they were bigger this year. You wait till you see them next year. And you think that the freshman class was good last year. You wait till you see them this year. And as the depth and everything grow and their body changes, the team will change and the performances will change. And I think that's what everybody will appreciate, and that's what everybody will see.
When you look at depth on defense, how would maybe having a few more extra bodies have changed the way you played guys this year? Did it seem like, I know in football guys are going to get hurt and dinged up, but some of those older guys who were playing every snap through the year, broke down a little bit at the end?
Well, anytime you don't have a replacement, I mean, and you're taking all the snaps, that stuff happens. All it takes is an ankle here, and now all of a sudden, instead of you being a 4'6" guy, you're a 4'7" guy with an ankle, and that big muscular guy that could never block you the year before, now all of a sudden he can get to you. And those are the type of things that adds up. When you get the depth and you can rotate people more, it helps. But you guys understand that's not an excuse. That's every football team. You know, every football team's beat up at this stage of the game. So don't take it as an excuse. It's just part of the game.
So in an ideal world, what percentage of snaps is the starter taking them to?
Depends on depends on who the starter is, and depends on what style of football you're playing against which opponent. There's a lot of variables.
Coach, to speak on Steve Ishmael and Irv Phillips specifically, just what they meant to your offense, what you're building here, and just what you can say about them off the field as well as leaders for your team outside of the football field.
Well, you know, the first person I think about is Irv. Irv, when we first got here, I believe he was playing running back or some kind of alphabet position. I'm not sure what it was called. And he was the first one that really took in the techniques and the fundamentals that we were talking about, which allowed him to have success in 2016, you know, before 2017. I thought Ish really came around after the season closed and he saw the success that Amba had. He wasn't going to let that go by again, and he really did his homework, so to speak, to get better and master the things that we needed him to master to get done. And hard work pays off. And look at the type of year that he had. And those are the things, when I look at those two guys, it tells young men, hey, if you buy in, you can have an Irv-type career. But even if you don't buy in initially, if you can change your mind and find some common ground, you can have an Ish type of year, okay? As young men, I think they're unbelievable. And off the field, they're fantastic friends, and they're going to have opportunities at the next level. So it'll be fun to see how they do.
Hi, Coach, over here. Same record as last year you guys finished with now, but in what ways have you seen your program progress between last year and this year?
I think the biggest thing is what's going on in recruiting. You know, obviously last year people said, hey, that was nice, but that was a blimp on the radar type thing. Now that we've done it 2 years in a row, they understand that we're capable of doing things, and the missing ingredients is players. And if we can get the right type of players from the recruiting standpoint and develop the players within the program, that we're going to have an opportunity to do things. The one thing that's extremely difficult is the ACC, and the ACC Atlantic is a grown person's league. And but we wouldn't have it any other way, because when we are successful, and we will be, what we don't want is we don't want to miss our opportunity. And as you can see now, even with the Final Four voting on who's going in and who's going out, it's hard not to respect the ACC, and it's really hard not to respect the ACC Atlantic. And that's what we want to be. We want to be in the toughest conference, so that when we are successful, no one can take it away from us. And if they do try to, I expect all you guys to stand up and cause some ruckus. All right?
Coach, why did you start Rex Culpepper today?
We wanted to, first of all, Zach wasn't completely healthy, but what we really wanted to see what Rex could do. And he's going to be with us in this program next year. We wanted to give him a good long look. He gives us an opportunity to do some things in our offense that he does some things better than Zach, and Zach does some things better than him. And we wanted to do some of those other things against Boston College to see if those things could be successful. So that's why we started.
Time for a couple more questions. Mark? Coach, back here again. You've mentioned in the past how tough it was last year, your first non-postseason off-season. Now you got another one to face. Can you talk about that a little bit, and what is priority number one in the off-season?
My number one word is faith. My number two word is humble. My number three word is meek. And it's humbling. It really is, not to be a part of postseason. But as iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. So all we're doing is gaining strength. The roots are getting strong beneath the ground. And it's going to have to be thick and deep, because when this tree starts growing, it's got to be able to support what we're doing. And that's what's going to be going on in the offseason with the foundation that we're going to be laying here with these young men that are in the program and the new ones that are coming. so we can get the things done that we need to get done.
Two more questions, Julian and Nate.
Coach, what do you make of this defense last few weeks, and why do you expect it to improve in 2018?
I expect to improve because of the new people that we're bringing in and the returning guys that we have in the defense. We're going to be really, really experienced with the D-line, okay? We'll be very inexperienced at the linebackers. There's no doubt about it. But we'll probably be deeper in the D-line than we have been in quite a while here at Syracuse. And then from the back end, we've got some guys that have been redshirting and some guys that have been playing that we think is going to give us a good nucleus. And I think we'll start to get the size that we need back there to tackle some of these quarterbacks and these running backs that we've got in this league, which are no joke, especially with that young man from BC. He's going to be around for hopefully 2 more years, not 3. But, you need some bigger cats to bring those guys down, and I think we've got some of those guys, not only that played this year, but some guys that are redshirted. They're going to be coming out of their red shirts next year, Julian. Okay.
Final question, Nate.
I guess, do you anticipate any sort of staff shakeup? And I know, I guess to elaborate, you get the 10th assistant. Now that you've gone through the full season, do you know how you'll utilize that position on your staff?
First of all, we'll see about the 10th position. There's a lot of ways that we can go with it. I don't want to talk about it publicly because it affects, how we're going to do it and how people are looking about what they're going to do with it. And a lot of coaches are thinking about doing different things, and then on with staff stuff, we'll lose staff just because our coaches will get hired from other people. When you start doing the things that we're doing, people notice. And if they can't get a certain guy, they'll go after another guy. So coaches change a lot. I don't get into that. We'll go through our deal. We'll evaluate the things we've done on offense and defense and special teams. And then if any of that stuff needs to be done, it will. But a lot of that stuff happens naturally just by people getting, more opportunities, more money and stuff like that. We've already lost 2 coaches here, and we've only been here 1 year. And neither one of them, was asked to leave. They had better opportunities and they decided to leave. So, thank you guys.